Welcome to Mortgages and More, your go-to podcast for the latest insights in the mortgage industry. Join us as we dive into expert advice, unveil actionable tips, and learn how to empower the next generation of homebuyers. Get ready to elevate your knowledge and make those property dreams a reality. Let's get started.
All right.
Woo!
If that doesn't get you going, I don't know what to.
Why do I say the word tips like that?
I don't know. I like
So
it.
weird. So awkward.
I just you didn't warn a guy that I was going to listen to a Kyle Draper hype video before we started this. I don't even know if I can go on now.
Well, you have.
How many times have we had to listen to that?
Well, it'll be when it's all said and done, it'll be over 30. So it never gets old. Kyle, we had to arm wrestle to see who was going to introduce our guest here, but
That's right.
I lost. So, Kyle, let me hand it to you to kick us off.
I love this guy. Any brother that wears a hat every day is a quick friend of mine, and there's certain people that just have this contagious spirit that when your bodies get in proximity, either in person or virtual, like the energy of the room is just elevated and incredible conversations begin to happen. And that's who Shane Kidwell is, right? He is that guy. He is incredibly magnetic and just brings unbelievable value to any environment I've ever been in with him. And so, bro, to have you as a part of this book, it is an absolute honor. And so thanks for coming on with us, man.
Thank you, man. Well, Amazon wouldn't have given me my own book if I hadn't have gotten in with you guys. So,
Was that from your terrorist threats? And
yeah. Listen, you say the wrong thing one time in college and all of a sudden you're blacklisted. So, no, thank you, man. I think what you're describing is, and you guys both have this as well. It's just like what true authenticity is. It's when you're truly authentic, you're comfortable with yourself, your warts, your scars, everything. You don't take yourself too seriously. And then you just work together to contribute. And man, it's just fun when you find people like that. And it's hard. It's really hard to find. So I was able to meet in person with Brian a couple of weeks ago over coffee and hang with you a couple of weeks ago too. And here we are. So no, I'm really excited to be here. I'm blessed to be part of the book. Dude, it's a stacked lineup. That's like the Pro Bowl, right? It's like the Pro Bowl for mortgage.
But we're really going to play the game. It's not going to be like, touch football. We're going to really play the game.
True.
We're going to meet up and play a tackle game. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
I don't know. Brian lost the arm wrestling, but I don't know, man. I think he's healthier than you and I in so many ways.
No doubt. Well, this isn't why people are here,
no,
right? To listen to us talk about nothing. So I'm excited, Shane. What in a few words, what did you choose out of all the things you could have chose to dedicate your chapter to in this book?
Yeah, there's so many places you can go and areas you could really dig into, because I believe that as an industry, we failed in the last season. Manna was falling from the sky and we did a great job of catching it. And then the manna stopped and all of a sudden we were left hungry. Mm-hmm. And everyone, myself included, my team included, and you got to be really introspective and you got to ask, why am I feeling so unprepared for this new season? And I think it goes back to the reality that most people in sales aren't good at sales. And so what does sales even mean anymore? What is marketing in 2024 and beyond versus where it was? And so for me, my chapter is the art of the sale. And we're going to be touching on some specific, tangible action items that if you do with frequency, it will grow your business. And the great thing about it, it will grow any business you have.
Yeah.
Right. And it's especially for mortgage. And again, the things I'm going to share, obviously I have a coaching company, but that's because I've gotten coached. And I can tell you that those who've actually been in the trenches, digging the foxholes with me, teach me in a way that those who just tell you from afar how to dig a foxhole never will. And so the things I'm going to talk about in the art of the sale are things I've done. poorly and then effectively, right? And then relearned as the markets and the seasons have changed.
So good, bro.
Yeah.
I can't wait for people to hear it, but I'm almost more excited for what's about to come out of your mouth for what we didn't prepare for, which is what didn't make the book that you still are unbelievably passionate about that mortgage professionals need to understand right now.
Yeah, it's been a journey for me. Most people don't know this, but my dad was a serial entrepreneur, was one of the original founders of Horizon Air, has multiple patents. He just was a creative thinker that was really, really likable. And that's the description of an entrepreneur. And so for me, I got into this. I was identified as a fireman. Then I identified as a mortgage professional, top 1% originator, all the things that don't matter. And what I'm most excited about now is being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And so yes, the conduit for much of that is going to come through mortgage. It's also going to come through managing my co-working space and building a co-working franchise, insurance companies, apartment syndications, and much more. And so what's really exciting for me is as I'm relearning and reteaching the art of sales from a mortgage perspective, all those things translate into every other industry.
Yeah. Why don't, and Brian, you can answer this too, because you're doing it, but why don't more loan officers see themselves as entrepreneurs and instead operate strictly as a salesperson?
Well, and I'll let Brian really take this point home, but I don't even know if they know what an entrepreneur is. They might say they're entrepreneurs, and then you go, oh, great. Well, what ideas do you have in the hopper, and what's your plan for 2025? And what are your different tranches of business or pillars or buckets? And they're like, I just work with real estate agents. And I'm like, dude, you're not an entrepreneur. Yeah. You're a banker that doesn't have a bank behind you.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And the way I would answer it is if you pick the tranche, top 1%, top 5%, top 10%, maybe even top 15%, by and large, that population that makes up that tranche, I think we all would point to and say they have an entrepreneurial spirit, mindset, philosophy. And then as soon as you go out of that tranche and you start slogging your way down, that's when everything else that's getting in the way gets in the way. And so I think what I've seen in big companies with top producers is they come into it and operate with a entrepreneurial, creative mindset. And then even true entrepreneurs, business owners who are not in that top 15, 20% suffer from the same stuff that, employees of a bank or a mortgage company suffer from. So it's to me, it's not about whether you are a business owner. It's that mindset that you take into your role every day.
Well, I've already had a couple people ask if there's going to be a rethink everything you know about being an entrepreneur book. So let's declare it out into the universe right now that that will be one of the next books, because right, what do people always say? Go do the work that you needed 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and the Kyle Draper of today still needs to learn and grow in my entrepreneurship. And so I think that'd be such an unbelievable book.
I love it.
To bring in people of all shapes and sizes that have grown big businesses and small businesses and lost millions of dollars. And because that word has just become that sexy word.
Yeah.
But like Shane said, I don't know that anybody truly understands what it means. So I'd love to unpack that.
Well, entrepreneurs, for me, one of the definitions is moving from failure to failure with no loss of momentum. Right?
I like that.
But you win more than you lose. That's that true entrepreneur who's made it. Yeah. And I mean, I'm more of a macroeconomics guy, more of a globalist thinker. Wouldn't our country be a better place with more small business owners and less mega companies?
Yeah.
Right.
Look at the mortgage industry. If we had 500 awesome mortgage companies, it's better than 50.
Yeah.
Right. It's better to have more car companies than less for the consumers and for all of us. And so for me, like my job is to build a legacy for my future family to be able to live in such a fashion that like they're blessed and able to bless. And like, if I'm a true entrepreneur and I'm building buckets of business, you know, so that one is recession proof and one rides in one market and one, you know, leans into another market. Like that to me is the American dream. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what my dad did. That's what I've, you know, really kind of fallen into. And I'm in love with the idea of being an entrepreneur.
Dude,
Me too,
you
man.
crushed it as usual, Shane. I'm so excited to have you in the book. We thank you for sharing your insights on this part of our 30 and 30 series, and looking forward to great things from all things Shane Kidwell in 2024 and beyond.
That's right.
Thanks, you guys.
Tomorrow, everybody.
See ya.